Hello, hello. This is Jennifer Regular again, the Soul Illuminator at Lighting the Path, back for part two of Intentional Living for the Awakened Leader. So, in that first part, whether you listened to it or watched it on YouTube, I shared how to be living in alignment with who you truly are and to consider your current trajectory, the way your life is going currently, and whether you're on the right path that's leading you to where you're meaning to go. I also spoke about regulating emotional upheaval because there's a lot of different emotions that come with change and transformation, and it's important to be able to modulate that, to regulate that. And then also how to stay true to your deeper passion. This is how you begin to embody your potential and express the love being that you are. And now, in part two, I want to talk more about the awakened leader, what that means, and really just focus in or zone in or hone in on that a little bit more. So, do you feel a call to a higher level, a higher purpose, a higher way of being, a higher path? Perhaps you felt that something's been missing in your life or that other jobs, roles, even entrepreneurial ventures that you've taken aren't quite cutting it. They're just not fulfilling the needs that you have to be able to serve in the way that you want to. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt drawn into a higher calling? This goes beyond just being interested in something, right? No matter if it's something that you feel really enthusiastic and excited about, but there's a deeper sense that there's something bigger that you're meant to do, and allowing yourself to be drawn into that, and knowing that when you're not aligned with what you're meant to be doing, that it can feel very uncomfortable, very unsatisfying. You may feel some discontent, some boredom, some depression, or just that you need something more. You just need something more. And it doesn't always have to do with the people around you. Although being an awakened leader, people might think of you as someone who's overly idealistic and maybe not so realistic because you have grand ideas. You have a bigger vision and version of what life is supposed to be and the work that you're meant to do. And it's not even work, it's more your act of service, your need to serve in some big way. Maybe that's meant to create more beauty. Maybe it's to entertain or to teach and transform or to coach others, to create profits is also important. Perhaps you're here to protect and care for others. Or maybe you're an activist and you're here to fight for justice. Maybe there's some fire in you that makes you want to stand up for what you believe in and help other people see the impact that a certain cause is doing too, so that you can have greater effect. So, what is it that you're here to do? What are you feeling called to? Maybe you have a sense of that. Maybe you've had some self doubt that kind of keeps you away from really knowing and understanding or even embodying that. Or perhaps you're thinking, well, who am I to, do all of those things? And for myself, I've tried many different jobs and roles, a lot of it in social and human services, working in domestic violence, with homelessness, with poverty, immigration, federal offenders, and severe mental health issues, and so on. I've also been a manager of a cheese shop, and I've also been fired from Harvey's. I've also been involved in a live-in caregiver position and other things. And every time, it felt like the right thing to do. Definitely a learning process, learning more about myself and being able to develop personally and professionally. But what I kept realizing over and over again was that I'm not really an employee. I'm more of an entrepreneur. I'm more of someone who likes to stand on their own. And even in those positions and roles that I had, I always had creative solutions and innovative ideas and different ways of thinking about things. And I got to express that many times, but not just quite having the impact that I wanted to, because I was still constricted and restricted by the different policies and procedures and ways that employers expect their employees to follow. So, and I'm not much of a follower. And I'm not much of a really strong leader either. I just feel a call to a deeper purpose. So the awakened leader recognizes that. They're aware that there's a higher purpose, a different way of being, and that there's something unique that they have to offer. And so that's what I want you to start considering or go deeper into. What is that call? What are you being called to do? What are you truly passionate about? You know, in the first part, I talked about passion and breaking up the word about pass I on, and I being your soul's expression, your way of sharing love out into the world, your way of making a difference in the world. You know that who you are makes a difference. And now it's time to decide what kind of difference do you want to be making? An awakened leader is also someone who recognizes that they're here to be a bridge to the new paradigm, to a new way of being, and to the 5D reality that we're hearing more and more about, which is pretty exciting. We're not just evolving, we're ascending. We're moving beyond the mundane and 3D reality, which can be very disorienting and chaotic and frenetic and frenzied, into this way of being that's more calm, more self assured, because we know that we're here to be on purpose. We know that we're here for a reason, and we're becoming more and more aligned into that. We're communicating in different ways, and we're manifesting in different ways. And with an awakened leader, you act on your ideas and you create momentum for that, maybe even a movement for that, and to move it into manifestation, into the reality. And it's important to take care of yourself in the process too, because as you know, we are spiritual beings having this human experience. And sometimes our spirit wants to direct us on and on and on, but we do have this physical body that needs tending to as well. But part of that self care is soul care and making sure that you move into self actualization, that you are here to activate your full potential so that you can really make the most out of this life. And it doesn't have to be something so extravagant. It's more about you stepping into being who you came here to be and doing what you came here to do, being more and more yourself. And in every situation, so that you're congruent, whether you're with family, with friends, or whether with you're an employer, or whether you're out in the community, or whether you um, abide by a church or a synagogue or your nation, your country, whatever you align with, always check in whether it also aligns with your personal values. Because when we expand beyond what we're ready to, or we're still trying to fit into a place we've outgrown long ago, it's important to recognize when it's no longer a good fit and then stepping into what might be. And people talk about reaching this comfort zone and being in this comfort zone. And it's not really, because a lot of people actually aren't that comfortable in their comfort zone because they recognize that something's just not right. They're not living their best life. And so you start as an awakened leader taking considered risks outside of that comfort zone and into your growth zone, where you can really grow and evolve and ascend and thrive into a more integrated and higher consciousness model of living. And so part of what I'm doing is just sharing some questions and perspectives through these videos and these audios so that you can get a better understanding and have some time to reflect on who you are and what you're here to do. And then gather the courage and confidence to go be that person and do what you came here to do. So I'm hoping that this helps with you and this resonates with you. And I'm curious, are you aware of what you're here, what you're being called to do? Do you know that you have a strong sense of calling? Share it in the comments below and claim that. Part of being an awakened leader is starting to remember that you came here with a plan, actually, a blueprint or a soul contract, that you realize that you are 100% responsible for the life that you're living. and that you also have the power to direct the life that you're living. How exciting is that? So you get to direct this life. Yes, you came here with a plan, but you get to see how you're going to cultivate that, how you're going to implement that plan, because that's totally up to you. And you are 100% responsible for that. So, what are you going to bring into this future that you're creating? What is your vision for that? And if that's become cloudy and obscure, then take some time to become clear again, to brush away the fog, which, I love acronyms. So, fog for me is fear, obligation, and guilt, to clear that away and reconnect with that passion that your soul's expression, that you're here to pass on. So, consider that. Consider what type of leader you are. Consider how you want to be expressing the love you have for the world, and start acting on those ideas and creating that momentum so that you can really excel in life and become who you came here to be. And so that's what I mean by awakened leader. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So that's also something that you can share in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back for part 3. Those who are still wondering or wanting to gather the courage and confidence, I invite you for a Pathfinder session. In these 30 minutes together, we get to explore your soul's guidance on choosing the path that's most aligned with your deepest passion. So book now at no cost. Here's the link for you, and I'll put it in the notes as well.